This week on Chuckload of Comics, we're weighing in on the James Gunn firing controversy. We're giving you our full review of Mission Impossible Fallout, and Locke and Key has finally found a home on Netflix. Yes! All that plus comic book reviews and nerd news right here on Chuckload of Comics. Hello and welcome to Chuckload of Comics. Big week, people. Lots of stuff went down this week. Look at the sidebar.
I know.
Look at all the stuff we're about to talk about.
Some amazing stuff on the sidebar.
We saw Mission Impossible.
Awesome movie.
6, Mission Impossible Fallout. We saw that. Locke and Key is going to be on Netflix. Locke and Key, the amazing comic book series by Joe Hill, has gotten picked up for 10 episodes on Netflix.
Finally!
Descender, one of our favorite comic book series, finally wrapped up with issue 32. We're going to give you the whole breakdown of what this series is all about.
That's right.
I'm excited to talk about that, but before we do, I want to just take a second and show my support, our support, for writer, director, genius, Mr. James Gunn.
General, all-around great person,
great, wonderful
human
person.
being.
If you don't follow James Gunn on Instagram, you're missing out. He's hilarious. He's awesome. He is beloved by his entire cast and crew. And you all know the backstory. Disney fired James Gunn from Guardians 3
Fired him.
2 weeks ago at San Diego Comic-Con because of some tweets that he made 10 years ago.
Yep.
That he has since apologized for. He apologized 6 years ago for these things.
Right.
This was not news.
Nope.
This was just this ridiculous thing that came out of nowhere because some right-wing conservative group decided to dig it up. They were pissed at James Gunn for his anti-Donald Trump stance on social media, which you are perfectly within your rights to be pissed at your own president, people.
Absolutely.
Regardless of fear of getting fired by Disney.
Right?
So that's really what happened. This crazy alt-right group brought all this stuff to Disney's attention, and Disney did this fast, non-thinking thing and just fired him from a movie that is done, written. It was supposed to start production really soon. Sorry, I'm really pissed, and I'm kind of venting right now.
Yeah, absolutely. You do it, Chuck.
I want to show my support, damn it. I love James Gunn. I think this thing is absolutely ridiculous.
And Disney knew what they were getting into when they hired James Gunn. He had already made the apologies. This guy worked for Troma Films for people. He wrote the movie Slither. They knew who he was.
Yeah. The Slither guy was offensive?
Yeah.
Get the hell out of here. You don't say. And another thing. Something that me and Shauna were talking about. Disney, if you're going to fire James Gunn for offensive and being offensive to others, you gotta look at your history of people you've hired in the past. Let's just look at your animated stuff alone.
Yep. Let's do that.
Aladdin. Gilbert Gottfried played the parrot in Aladdin.
Iago. Voiced Iago in Aladdin.
One of the most offensive comedians on the planet.
That's right.
Hilarious. We love Gilbert Gottfried.
Yeah.
We've met him. We've spoken to him. We've seen him live, and he's hilarious and offensive as hell.
Exactly. Offensive as hell.
Half of his stand-up is about rape and pedophile and touching little kids. But it's just... wow, it sounds really bad when you say it out loud.
But it's comedy. I mean, you got to take it lightheartedly. You can't just fire him.
Society has no sense of humor anymore, damn it.
Based on your firing of James Gunn, I think you just need to pull Aladdin off the shelves.
While you're pulling things off the shelves, let's pull Mulan off the shelves while we're at it. Eddie Murphy, he played that little dragon in Mulan, and you want to talk about an offensive stand-up comedian? Back in the 80s, every other thing out of fucking Eddie Murphy's mouth was something bashing the homosexual community or Mr. T.
Yep. Mr. T.
I mean, everything was an offensive joke.
Very offensive.
Back in the day with Eddie Murphy, but you still hired him.
That's right.
You never fired him. Nobody gives a rat's ass about things he said 10 years ago.
I got another one for you.
Which one?
Let's pull Pocahontas off the shelf. You know why?
No.
Because Mel Gibson voiced John Smith in
Mel
Pocahontas.
Gibson.
Mel Gibson. Oh, wait a second. I'm sorry. The alt-right group loves Mel Gibson.
That's right.
He made Passion of the Christ.
That's right. Good point.
Never mind.
He gets a
They're
pass.
not going to call him out.
Mel Gibson never said anything offensive his entire life.
No, not at all.
So that's what? We're up to 3? Should we go for 4?
We could.
Robin Williams wasn't exactly the most clean-cut comedian on the planet.
Love Robin Williams to death.
We haven't gone and pulled Aladdin off the shelf. Again, Aladdin was chock full of offensive people, and nobody cared. And that's your animated kids' movies.
Right.
This is Guardians of the Galaxy. This is a grown-up crowd. Now, again, we're not backing... I'm not saying it's okay. The things that he said were incredibly offensive.
Sure.
But you can't go comparing him to things like Roseanne. Everybody's making the Roseanne comparison, and it's just not even a comparison.
Roseanne called out an individual, and it was obviously racist.
Yeah.
James Gunn's tweets were not racist by any means.
Roseanne was showing her current beliefs as a human being.
Right.
And that's who she is. James Gunn, this is something that he did 10 years ago. He has since profusely apologized about it. 6 years ago, he apologized about it. Disney hired him anyway. Mm-hmm. And then you up and fire him because some people might get it. It's a comment on society as a whole right now. I'm really starting to vent, and I don't want this to go too far, but society, as you all know, everybody knows this, but nobody wants to say it, just that we're getting way too easily offended. Mm-hmm. We're too afraid to piss one person off that you ruin somebody's career.
There's going to be no more comedy
essentially
left
out
in
of
the
nothing.
world.
Yeah. What is comedy
if
it's not, it's just like any other art. Mm-hmm. I mean, the most offensive comedians are the ones that live on forever.
Look at George Carlin.
George Carlin, offensive as hell to all religious groups. I mean, just every comedian out there.
Yep. So, anyway, go to change.org.
Sign the petition.
Sign the petition. Get James Gunn hired back. James Gunn, we love you. We're here for you. So is your cast and crew. You'll get the job back, buddy.
That's right. Moving on.
Yes.
Somebody else I really love, Mr. Tom Cruise, recently...
Not offensive whatsoever.
No, everybody loves Tom Cruise in this house, anyway. Mission Impossible Fallout, the Christopher McQuarrie written and directed number 6, the 6th installment of the Mission Impossible movie, came out this weekend. We saw it, loved it.
Lived up to the hype,
100%. It is currently sitting at a 98% on Rotten Tomatoes from critics, like I think a 96 from viewers. It was a blast.
Yeah.
Long movie.
Yeah.
2.5 hour movie.
It didn't feel like it at all. It went by so fast. Every scene is action packed, but not like the action that's just thrown in there just to have action. It's very well done. Of course, Tom Cruise does most of his own stunts. You see the point where he shatters his ankle.
They kept that in there because he finished the scene like a professional.
Right. Because he is a professional.
Yeah. Henry Cavill crushed it.
Yeah.
Superman, Clark Kent did an amazing job. Love the mustache. Keep it.
Yes.
Good mustache. I can't grow a good mustache. I can't grow a good Henry Cavill mustache. I wish I could. Ving Rhames, also wonderful mustache. He killed it. Ving Rhames did great. Simon Pegg, I think he also has a mustache. No? Angela Bassett, wonderful mustache.
Very good mustache.
She killed it. Alec Baldwin.
No mustache.
No mustache.
That's okay.
Still did a really good job.
Yeah.
Every scene of this movie, I got to the end of the movie and I was almost... All I could think about was the end of the movie. And then as I'm walking home, I started thinking, wow, God, this happened at the beginning of the movie. And this happened, and then this happened. The whole movie is just action scene after action scene after action scene.
So well written.
Amazingly written.
Yeah.
Captivating, gripping,
Yeah.
Amazing directing by Christopher McQuarrie.
Yep.
Go see it.
Yeah,
I think you're really, really going to love it. Tom Cruise is back from The Mummy to the top box office movie of the weekend. I guarantee it.
Guaranteed. Absolutely guaranteed.
Tom Cruise is a Teflon actor.
Right? I think this is one of the only franchises that you can say that the 6th installment is probably the best out of all of the films. And I don't think anybody would disagree with me on that.
They just keep getting better.
Crazy. Yeah.
You keep getting better and better and better. And it's all thanks to the genius that is Tom Cruise.
No, and Christopher McQuarrie.
Well, if this doesn't get you excited about Top Gun 2, I don't know what will. But it's funny how, like, The Mummy can be so globally despised, which was his last movie. And he goes in one shot from the very bottom to the very top. Yeah. Mummy didn't faze him one bit. Any other actor probably would have just quit after the horrible performance of The Mummy.
And Christopher McQuarrie wrote that also.
He also wrote The Mummy.
He didn't direct it, though, so maybe that's where the failure was.
Let this be a lesson to all you kids. You can't win them all.
Yeah, exactly.
You hit some, you miss some.
That's right.
So go see it. Mission Impossible Fallout was a lot of fun. What else is a lot of fun? This book right here, Locke and Key. Fantastic comic book. It was written by Joe Hill, who's actually Stephen King's kid. He is a horror novelist, writes some amazing horror novels. They're scary as hell. He wrote a comic book series. He's written a few comic book series, but I think this was the first one that he did.
I think so, too.
It's called Locke and Key. It's a 6-story arc. You can get the hardcovers. Fantastic comic book. Well, it has been picked up not just optioned, picked up, bought and paid for by Netflix.
Netflix backed up the money truck.
They backed it up, as they often do.
Right?
A
Blindly.
little bit of backstory on Locke and Key. For all you Locke and Key fans, you know we've been trying to get this book made into some sort of a visual medium in moving pictures.
For a decade
now.
now.
I think like 15 years now.
Yeah.
Fox first picked it up. They shot a pilot for it. It didn't get picked up. Warner Brothers, I think, tried to make a movie out of it, and that didn't work. So they were going to make a trilogy of movies out of it. That didn't happen. Hulu picked it up.
Yep.
That everybody thought was a go.
Here and then no.
No, that didn't happen either. Well, now Netflix, like Shauna said, backed up the money truck, and it's actually happening. They purchased 10 episodes.
Yep.
It's
so
a done deal.
Happening.
Pen to ink, ink to paper, check to mailbox. It's done.
Show to TV.
Show to TV, brain blow. So get excited, guys. Basically what the story of Locke and Key is about, it's about this family who has come across some hard times. Their father dies and they have to move into the old family home. It's the giant Gothic mansion that is very magical. Lots of crazy magical stuff goes on inside this house.
Haunted,
there's hidden keys
magical.
and ghosts and all kinds of ghostly, scary knickknacks in there. And it's just a wonderful, wonderful story.
So much fun.
It's fantastic. Definitely read the comic book before the show comes out, because
And you can also get it in paperback too. You don't have to buy the hardcover.
Yeah.
So it's cheaper in paperback.
It's great. And it's still in print. So you can go down to your local comic shop, pick up Locke and Key.
Absolutely.
Get excited because it's coming to Netflix.
Yes.
You heard it here first.
That's right.
What now? Man, we've talked about a lot today.
I know. It's because there's a lot of great things to talk about.
Big week.
So many things
We
happened
haven't even
this
talked
week.
about the Disney-Fox merger. We're not even going to get into that.
That's going to be later on.
So I think it's time to get into some comic book talk. What do you say?
Some more comic book talk, right? Yeah.
Yes. Trying to keep the energy level high, people, because I'm getting tired. Descender. One of our all-time favorite comic books. It came out in 2015. It's been flying off the shelves. It's an instant classic. Also been optioned to pick up as a movie, but it'll probably never happen. Like
Probably
most
not.
comic book adaptations
Yeah.
for movies, they people buy them.
People buy it just
They
to
never
have
see
it
the
in
light
their
of day.
pocket. Yeah.
Not like Locke and Key over here that's totally coming to Netflix pretty soon. This book is so great. You got to pick it
amazing.
up. It's basically it's a sci-fi adventure written by Jeff Lemire. Everybody knows who Jeff Lemire is. Art by Dustin Gwynn.
Oh,
You've
so-
never
so
seen art
beautiful.
like this in your life.
No.
It's gorgeous. Every page is an oil painting or like a watercolor painting on
Watercolor.
pulpy
Watercolor.
paper. He really does the watercolor on actual pulpy paper, and then they scan it in. Every page looks like a drawing, like a beautiful watercolor piece of art.
Yep.
It's set in the future. Big wars between robots and people. It's a universe where robots from a distant galaxy have come down, wiped out like most of humanity, and there's this big revolution. Anti-robot hysteria has swept the galaxy.
Right.
And there's just one little kid robot left named Tim 21,
He's so
and the
cute.
story follows the journey of Tim 21, not unlike Luke Skywalker. Through the events of Descender. Everybody's trying to find Tim 21 because he's got this secret stuff locked into his head that could really turn the tide in the robot war. It's an amazing book.
So good.
Shauna, what else can you say? I need to take a breath.
I'm so sad to see it go, but the good news is Jeff Lemire wrote this nice long story in the back saying that they are going to continue in this universe, and 6 months from now we're going to get Ascender.
Right.
So we get the continuation of this universe 10 years later after the happenings of the final issue in Descender 32.
Right, so we're not done.
Super excited
We are
about
going
that.
to continue to live in the Descender universe.
Maybe missing some of our favorite characters, but we won't tell you who because you got to read the story. But
Yeah,
at least
not
we
everybody
get a new
lives
storyline.
in Descender, but definitely check out 32 if you haven't picked it up. And if you haven't even started the series, go pick it up in trade format. You will not be... Every issue of this book was amazing. There was not one single issue.
You're right.
It was the most reliable book every single month. You knew
I agree.
Descender was always going to be an amazing book,
Yep.
week after week, month after month, for 32 whole episodes
Yeah.
since 2015. March 4th, 2015 is when it first came out.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember it like it was yesterday.
15th, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. 3 years ago. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's wild.
Interesting. Wow.
Well, thanks for watching Chuckload of Comics. Let's wrap this up, guys, shall we?
Sounds like a plan.
Thanks for watching. If you guys haven't joined the Chuckload of Comics family, please click that subscribe button. Join us here every Sunday for comic book talk, nerd news, movie reviews, ranting and raving about things that piss us off.
That's right. Don't forget to go to change.org and sign the James Gunn petition.
Sign it. Sign it twice.
That's right.
Sign it, go back, grow a mustache, come back, sign it again. Just like they used to do in the old days. Voter fraud. Right here. Anyway, we'll see you here next week. Enjoy your week. Have a fantastic week. See you here next time.